morning. For Traders Exclusive, this is George Kachuk with RCM Wealth Advisors reporting to you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. Here we are, it's Monday, August 7th, and the equity uptrend continues. So looking at the equity markets, we have the Dow hitting new highs, we have the S&P 500 slightly off its highs, the NASDAQ composite also near its highs. We do see a little bit of problem with the transports. They are still above their 2014 highs. That's an important support level. Why I mentioned the transports, if you see the Dow hitting new highs, you do want to see the transports hitting new time highs, because often that kind of divergence can lead to a possibly correction. But that's to be seen. And also we see a little bit of weakness in small caps, but still everything's looking pretty good. Now as the S&P and the Dow and NASDAQ continue powering to highs, everyone's kind of concerned, well, why is this happening? Well, it's actually quite simple. Two things are going on: profits and enthusiasm since the election. So let's talk about the profits. So far, S&P this quarter, when they reported earnings, profits are up 19% year over year. Sales are up 6%, and profit margins are 10.3%, basically an all-time high. So that's why stocks continue to do well, because profit margins are very good. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the only reason stock's been rising is because of share buyback. That's partially true, but according to S&P, basically only about 11% of that is due to stock buybacks, and 89% of the growth is due to profit margins. So strong profits are good for stocks, and that's what's causing the market to drive higher. It's not QE or some other silly things like that. Now, also, there's been a renewed enthusiasm as far as business investment. And if you look at all the business surveys or consumer confidence surveys, they've risen dramatically since the election. So there's just a renewed optimism for the U.S., and that's good for stocks as they continue to drive higher. Now, taking a look at the underneath what's going on in the stock market, technology stocks a little bit under pressure, even though they're reporting record and great earnings. Sometimes the reaction to their earnings is not so good. So technology still should continue to do well, but let's say if you're a little bit nervous of the sector, there's another sector you should take a look at right now that's starting to show, again, a little bit of a bounce, and that's specifically the banking sector. The banking sector had a great reaction after the election back in November, ran then topped out in about March, and has been correcting since. And last week, especially Friday after the jobs report, we saw some volume coming into banks as they try to break into new highs. So some of the names we're looking at and nibbling on and buying are, like, if you look at the big banks, is Citigroup, that symbol C, or Bank of America, that symbol is BAC, or Morgan Stanley, symbol MS, or JP Morgan, symbol JPM. Now you can also take a look at some of the large super regional banks. That could be Comerica, symbol CMA, or Regions Financial, that symbols RF, or Silicon Valley Bank, that symbols SIVB. These are some of the strongest banks and larger banks in that sector, and they also seem to be doing pretty good. And it's interesting, if you take a look at a chart of all these banks, it looks very similar, where we saw kind of a larger correction since March, and as time goes on, that sort of spread's getting narrower and narrower. It's what we call a volatility contraction pattern. And if you see volume coming off that, that's a pretty good sign, and that sector may be forward to move. Now, these are not buy recommendations. You should also always consult your financial advisor, see if this trades for you. This is just to give you an idea if you're getting weary of the tech sector, other sectors that you might take a look at. But as always, let price and volume be your guide. So in summary, markets are moving higher. Take a look at the banking sector, and always watch price and volume. This is George Kachuk for Traders Exclusive. For Traders Exclusive, RCM Wealth Advisors, reporting to you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. Have a great trading week.